Start recording.
I'm looking.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Toxic Geek Gaming. So we're going to do something a little different today. We are going to be doing a live stream on August 22nd. So I'm going to sit down with one of my players for a D&D session that we're going to be live streaming, and we are going to show you guys the process of making a character and how I go about doing it as a DM to help my players along. So what you guys are looking at here is the basic Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. There is many core rule books. You can go to your local bookstore, find them. You can get some offline as well. Just please don't pirate them. No one likes that. Alright, so the one thing that you're going to start with is you want to determine what type of character your player wants to be. So we've already predetermined some of this stuff, and we found out that Dark and Twisty is going to be a gnome druid. So on this page here, you guys can see I have the gnome pulled up, what page I can find all the statistics, the druid, what page to find those statistics, and the racial bonuses right there. So we'll flip over to her character sheet real fast, kind of show you what we are looking at, and then I'll explain this a little bit further. Alright, so here's the character sheet. There's a lot of information on here, guys. And this is actually a druid character sheet, already pre-filled in with druid abilities and stuff. It makes it go a little bit faster. If you don't have that, I'll show you where to find all the information in the book. It won't be a problem. So we went ahead and started out. We filled out her name, the player, which is her name right there for her online name, what class she is, since this druid is already pre-filled out. Her race is a gnome. Alignment is basically if you want to be good, evil, care about yourself, what they call neutral. And then we filled out her deity. There's Alana, basically it is the goddess of nature and everything good. Her level is 1. Because she's a gnome, she has a smaller size than regular humanoids. And then her age is 45, gender is female, height 3 feet, weight 40, eyes are blue, hair is blonde. A lot of this is already predetermined whenever you're reading through the gnome stuff, as far as the height, the weight, the age. Eye colors are also determined, and hair color. A lot of stuff doesn't really have a lot of play in it. You can really do whatever you want, as long as you follow that height requirement for being a smaller character, and not being overly huge if you're a human. Other than that, most DMs will allow you to do just about anything. They don't usually stick to the book for that. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at is her ability scores, right in here, guys. So, with her ability scores, you'll place the ability score, the modifier, the temporary score, the temporary modifier. So, what I want to do to start off with is I will take the +2 Constitution and -2 Strength, and we're going to add those in right here. So, we're going to go into the Constitution. We're going to add +2. For the Strength, we're going to go ahead and throw -2. This way we have the racial traits determined for the gnome on the character sheet, so we don't forget. It's a quick, easy reference for us to look back on and remember what the racial trait is. Alright, now that we have that, we can go ahead and delete that next to the gnome. Alright, so the next step, this will be right out of the player's handbook, guys. So the next one is to check with your DM or your Dungeon Master. Make sure they don't have any house rules referring to the campaign or anything like that. Other than that, you guys are free to start rolling up your ability scores, which is this step right here. We went ahead and predetermined this before recording, just so it would make it go a little bit faster. The way you do it is you roll 4 d6, or what they call 6-sided dice. You ignore the lowest one, and then you add them all together. So we have her scores recorded right here. She's got a 14, 11, 14, 13, 14, and 16. Alright, so now that you have those, see, now it's going to say choose your class and race. I usually do this beforehand, just so we know what kind of character we want to build, so you can pre-look at those stats, because otherwise you're going to be jumping back and forth in the book a lot. So I recommend doing this step first. Alright, the next thing that we have her ability scores, what race and class she is, we are going to assign and adjust ability scores. So there is a table for ability modifiers on page 8. We'll look at that here in just a second. And also the racial ability modifiers, if you don't know where to find those, they are on page 12. Very simple, just a little list of each race and what their different traits are. Now this is just the core base player handbook. There are many books out there, so you may be referencing 2 or 3 books if you're looking at races and other books. Like I know Sword Coast Legend has some. Race of Stone is a good one if you want to play like a big warrior type class. The Race of Stone has some really good fighting races in it. So if you're looking at another book, you may have to be jumping back and forth a little bit. Not too much of a hassle though. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to assign and adjust her ability scores. We're going to hop over to her character sheet here, and we're going to look at her ability scores. And now where it's important for this is to know what abilities are most important for the class. And the way that you can do that, let me just pull up the book again. I know I'm jumping back and forth, guys. I'm so sorry. So we're going to go ahead and go to the Druids page, which is on page 33. So just come up here, go to 33, scroll down just a little bit more to get the Druids. Now what you guys are looking for is you're going to be looking for game rule informations. And I'm talking about abilities. So this goes into detail. This whole section talks about the main abilities for that class and what they will need. It also shows you what alignment they can be and their hit dice. So after reading through this, we determined that Wisdom is the highest score that a Druid needs. The second one being Dexterity, because they are only allowed to wear light armors, so they're not going to have a big armor class. So the Dexterity bonus is going to help out a lot in that. And we'll show you a little bit more on that whenever it comes up. So we're going to start off with the 16. Where would you like that score at, Dirk? Wisdom, okay. Pretty much figured that one, guys. Most important skill, throw your biggest role in it. Makes perfect sense, right? Alright, so what I like to do is record these on a separate sheet of paper, mark them out, or if you like me doing it on the computer, just erasing. Alright, so now I've got 3 14s. Where would you like those? So we're going to throw a 14 in Dex. Okay. Alright, so now you guys realize she said strength. So what I'll do here is you're going to take the 14 minus 2, leaving her strength at a 12. That's where the racial bonus comes in there. So her now strength, even though it was a 14, is now a 12. Alright, and next. We have an extra squid. Oh, because it's plus 2 on con still. Intelligence or what? Charisma, you can talk your way out of things. Intelligence will be based on how many skills you can do in D&D 3.5. Alright, so intelligence will be a 14. Okay. Gotcha. 13 charisma. And that leaves her with an 11. She'll throw that in her con plus the 2. It's good if you have a big racial bonus, which plus 2 is a pretty good one for the standard rules. You will go ahead and add your lowest score there usually. So adding the 11 there is going to make that a 13. So overall, she has a really strong character here actually. Most EMs will not like you to have this. They did come out with a new way of doing it called the standard array, where you're going to end up with an 8. Which you guys are like, okay, so you're talking numbers. What does all this mean? Alright, so let's show you. We'll go in the book here. Wrong page. Back down to our character creation, okay? Just a second. Scroll down there, guys. Alright, so whenever we're assigning the ability scores, now it shows you to do your ability modifiers on page 8. So this is where we jump to page 8. Here we go. Here's our ability modifiers. This is where the numbers come in. So 14 and 15, you get a plus 2. 12, 13, you get a plus 1. So we're going to hop back over to her character sheet. This one, and the ability modifier is going to be a plus 2. This one's going to be a plus 2. This one's going to be a plus 1. This one's going to be a +1. Yeah. So 12, 13 is 1. 14, 15 is 2. So this 13 here is a 1 as well. And then her wisdom, she has a massive 16, guys. So we're going to go ahead and look back over here. 16 is a +3. So we will go ahead overthrow that +3 on that ability modifier. +3. Alright. So now you guys are like, okay, so now you got all these bonuses and numbers. More numbers. Basically, that's all the character she's going to be is numbers, guys. I hate to tell you. So, the way this works is you're going to look over here on this AC chart. It shows your total equals 10 plus all these stats. So, because she has a dex of 2 here, we can go ahead and take that 2 and put it right here. Okay? The next step that I usually do, actually, let's go back to the book. Let's go back to the book. We're trying to follow the book here. I usually don't follow the book to a T on this stuff because I've made so many characters. So we've signed them. Now we're going to review the starting pack for the class. Record any racial and class features. Select your skills. Select a feat. And then there's a full review of what you basically did in selecting your equipment. Okay, so let me go in here and just explain to you. That is basically, once you have this stuff right here on this character sheet, you are virtually done making a character other than just filling in blanks. So basically, with these numbers, all you do now is transport them to where they need to be. So you look here, it says Fortify, it says Constitution underneath. Ability modifier. So that means you're going to take your ability modifier for your Constitution, which is a +1/4, and place it right here. The ability modifier for a Reflex is her Dexterity. That's a +2. So you're going to put a +2 right here. And for Will, it is Wisdom, which is a +3 for her, so she'll put a +3 right here. Now, to get the base save, for that, what you're going to do is you're going to go back over to the rule book, and you're going to go to the character class. So every class is going to have a chart on it. And you are just going to look at that chart and follow what it says. Very, very simple. So right here, we're making a level 1 character. Base attack +0. Fortitude is 2. Reflex is 0. Will is 2. So it's literally 2, 0, 2. So you go back over here. 2, 0, 2. So that is a +2. This is, I don't put +0, I always put 0. Some people like putting +0. I usually don't. And then her will is a +2. Okay, the magic modifier, you are not going to have these usually at the beginning of the game unless you're making a higher level character from the start. These come in effect whenever you get magical items later on. Miscellaneous modifier will come in whenever you're choosing your feats. There are certain feats that will affect these, but unless you're going for a certain type of saving throw and you want that special feat to be there because maybe you have a bad score, usually those are 0 as well whenever you're first making your character. So we saw on there base attack bonus was 0, so I'll go in here and I will put a 0 here as well for her base attack. And then you look right here, initiative modifier says Dex mod. So you'll go right here. Her Dex mod is +2. So that means her initiative right now is +2. Again, miscellaneous. There's a feat that can increase your initiative. It's called Improve Initiative. If you add that, you'll get a bonus there. Most of the time it is 0 unless you choose that beginning feat. So her initiative would pretty much be a +2. I'll leave it blank for now until we get to her actual feat, and then we'll go back in and look at it. Whenever you are figuring out total hit points, first level characters start with maximum hit points on the dice. You'll learn this from your class feats whenever you're reading about the abilities. It also said hit dice. As a druid, she has a D8, so her max HP is 8. Hence why they say dexterity is good. So your armor class is higher so you don't get hit as often. Alright, so now we're just going to go through and kind of explain this stuff. And then I'm just going to end the video there after I explain it all, because it's just a matter of filling out the rest of the work. You have pretty much everything you need. I might cut over and show a few like feats or different things like that. We'll see. But alright, so temporary scores. These will come in play later on if someone casts a spell on you. And temporary modifiers. Say this gets bumped up to a 16. Well, now our temporary modifier will be a +3. It doesn't come into play at the beginning, so you don't need it. So, wound, current hit points. This is where you keep track of your HP during the game. Subdual damage is basically if you are unconscious and people are just trying to waylay on you. What are you looking at? Yeah, no, you don't have any of that. I'll go back and explain it. Because I know you're taking care of the kid. I'll go back and explain it here in a second. Damage reduction. Eventually spells can also make you immune to certain damages. So that's where the damage reduction is going to come in. Speed is based on your race. Any type of normal humanoid has a base speed of 30 feet. Gnomes and halflings, however, only have a base speed of 20 feet. Because they are shorter. Shorter legs can't move as fast. I know, I'm short myself. So, basically what that means in D&D terms, most maps are done on grids. Each grid is considered 5. So by a 20 movement speed means you can move 4 spaces in combat, where most people can move 6. Not necessarily a bad thing, because you have that size bonus as well, which we'll get in here, the size modifier. I'm actually going to have to look that up again because I don't remember off the top of my head. But there is a size modifier for ACs that she'll get to add on that as well. Alright, so over here you guys will see skill charts. Very basic and simple. You're going to follow where it says skill modifier. Look to the left. All those skills, you're going to copy the modifier bonus right over. And then whenever you're determining skills, you'll go back over to the class. Let me scroll up just a little bit here. So class skills, these are why they're all marked, because it's already a druid. These are why the druid has these marked. This is all of the druid skills. And then if you're determining skill points at first level, it's 4 plus her intelligent modifier times 4. So we'll look at her intelligent modifier being a 2. That'll be a +6 times 4, which is going to make it 24 points to spend. And the way ability scores work, if you are going to level up a known skill for your class, 1 point gives you 1 point in rank. So, say she wanted to level up alchemy. You want to level up by 1 rank. That costs 1 point. Now she's down to 23. Say that she wanted to construction, something that druids normally don't have. She'd have to spend 2 points to get 1 rank in it. And you cannot go above rank 4 on any starting skill. Other than that, you just plug in the points where you want them on what skills you think are useful. And then you have your character pretty well done. After that, the only thing to do is figure out your equipment and money. There's places down here for gear, items, your special abilities and everything. And then right here is the most important part. You want to record all of your weapons, things like that. I even use these for cantrip spells that you might use more often. You put it down, roll the damage dice, what you need to roll to see what they do. It's a good way to keep track of it if you're using the base character sheet. Since we are using the actual Druid's character sheet, they have a special feature where I can go all the way down to the bottom. So this is where you add your spell saves. At first level, spells per day. All that is on the chart that we already looked at. And then because this is a special druid one, I get all the druid spells right here listed by level, how many times they can cast them, and everything. Makes it really, really simple. But this is not necessary, guys. You could copy them out of the book if you want to, if they really want to list their spell. But alright, guys, that's basically it for a simple character creation. You guys see that Dark Twisty is going to be playing a Druid Gnome. We'll finish filling out her character sheet, and there'll be a post in the description if you guys want to go actually see the full completed character sheet once we have it done. Thank you guys very much, and as we always say, keep it toxic, keep on gaming, and we'll see you guys next time.